Hello, Helen, my love. How are you?
Hello, ladies. I'm good. Yeah, I'm recovered from my post-Christmas illness, and I'm feeling good now. Yeah, I'm okay.
Post-Christmas illness. I feel like everyone's been ill over this Christmas. It seems to have been the worst Christmas I've ever known for everybody getting ill.
It's just like everybody got ill all at once, and
Yeah.
it was snowing, and it was just it was the Great British Freeze illness of 2025. But I have survived, and I'm ready to go now. Yeah, feeling all right. I'm feeling all right. Hopefully my voice is okay, but I'm absolutely fine. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm still getting over I got the illness after Christmas, so I may do the odd little cough and splutter as well. So we will roll with it. Anyway, for our audience who are listening, hello, you wonderful people. Today we are joined with the one, the only Helen Tudor and her little Daxi dog, Dave. So if we hear Dave in the background, then that's just going to happen. But what would you all expect on a dog podcast anyway?
Well, this is it. I thought of all the podcasts that I'm on, this is the one that it doesn't matter if Dave comes with me and is loudly chewing his teddy to death, just off camera.
I love it. Love it. Cool. So, Helen, tell everybody a bit about yourself and how amazing you are in the world of LinkedIn.
So, it's just like so boring being famous for LinkedIn stuff. Anyway, not what I thought I was going to be when I grew up, right? So, yes, for the last 10 years, the last decade of my wild and precious life, I have been teaching entrepreneurs how to get leads from LinkedIn without sending endless DMs to strangers and without spending all day on there. So really simple way to get leads on LinkedIn as quickly and efficiently as possible without selling your soul to the devil or doing things that make you feel weird, like spamming strangers on the internet. So that has been my focus for the last 10 years. And I've recently just pivoting, as we say, into ideal client avatar work. So the thing is, the LinkedIn stuff works when you know your ideal client avatar inside out. So it's kind of like I've just gone back a step a little bit. But yes, for the last 10 years, it's been all about how to get leads from LinkedIn without sending any DMs in less than 30 minutes a day.
Love it. How on earth do you fall into doing that?
I was just about to say, obviously it wasn't your chosen career thing at the school, was it? So where did you start?
I wanted to be a page 3 girl when I grew up. That was what I wanted to be. Right?
You wanted to be, or you were?
I wanted to be. That was like the height of glamorous sophistication to me in the 90s. But I fell into it. Yes, I did fall into it thanks to a man at a networking event in a ill-fitting suit in a golf club in Warrington, when he said, how are you getting all these clients? So I used to run a digital agency before I taught LinkedIn, and all of my clients came to me from LinkedIn because I use LinkedIn in a really specific way that I invented when I was very, very broke. I had no money, I had no way of getting any clients, couldn't afford to go to networking or go to anything or pay for any ads. So I just use LinkedIn like a landing page for my business. So I use my profile like a landing page for my business. And then I just kind of drove traffic, if you like, to it. So I was like, okay, so LinkedIn makes sense. So you set up your profile as a love letter to your ideal client, and then you're asked to connect with your ideal client. And when they get there, they read all about how you can help them. That's how I thought about how using LinkedIn. And I was like, how can I get more people to look? Well, I just need to post every day. I need to do some comments every day, and I need to make sure I'm in front of new people every day. So that was my understanding of how to use LinkedIn. And for 10 years before I met this guy, I was merrily just running my own business, getting all my clients on LinkedIn for my social media agency. So that's how I sort of used it for years. I never even thought about it. I'd never read a book on how to use LinkedIn. I'd never been on a course, didn't even know there was such a thing of how to use LinkedIn. I'd never watched a YouTube channel on how to use it. That's how it made sense for me. But it was only when I met this guy and he said, oh, so you're working with all these great clients, like how are you getting all these clients? And I said, oh, they all come to me on LinkedIn. And he said, no, Helen, that's not how it works. I went, oh, really? Man in a cheap suit. He said, no, I've been on LinkedIn for years. I've got 10,000 connections. And I have this DMing strategy and And I was like, okay, well, if that works for you, great. And he said, well, it doesn't work for me. And I was like, oh. He said, I'm on there all the time. I'm sending all these messages. I'm building all these relationships and it's not working. So I want to know how you're doing it because you're saying people are coming to you. And I said, well, this is how I do it. And I got a napkin and I wrote it. I was like, headline and profile talk to your ideal client. Talk about your ideal client, not about you. And he's going, no, that's not how it works. It should be like a CV for yourself and for your business. I was like, no, I do it so it's all for your ideal client. So you know your ideal client, you write for your ideal client, you put out content every day for your ideal client, you add new people who could be your ideal clients every day, and you spend a bit of time just engaging and commenting on other people's stuff so more people see your headline and come to your profile and buy your stuff. And he went, okay. And then a couple of weeks later, we're back at the golf club eating the breakfast. I don't know why I was so fat in those days. It might have been 3 cooked English breakfasts a week I was having. And he said, Helen, guess what? And I was like, what, random man? He said, it works. I was like, I know. He said, no, you don't understand. I got a lead. And I was like, yeah, I know, you will do. That's how it works. And he said the famous words now, really, which is, you should teach this. And I was like, all right. And I just didn't, honestly, genuinely did not see what there was to teach. Because to me, it was so obvious. I was like, literally, you just add people, engage with people, and put out posts for people. That's it. And you just have a headline and profile that talks to your ideal client. That's it. It's just about getting profile views. And you can see how many profile views you're getting because LinkedIn will tell you. It's obvious to me. And so I just started teaching people like one to one, and it worked for everyone. And then I got a massive tax bill. So I was motivated to start a group program. So I was like, shit, how am I going to pay this tax bill? So I was like, I know, I'll do a group program. So I got 9 people together in my mastermind. I think I charged about 300 quid each. I thought I'm going to be rich beyond my wildest dreams. And I taught a small group of people this same thing, right? And again, I was like, know your ideal client, have a headline and profile that talks to them, post every day, engage every day, add new people every day, grow your audience, engage with your audience, sell to your audience, right? So it's like the basic fundamentals of principles of marketing that have never changed. And I was like, and it's all free. You can just do it on LinkedIn. You don't need premium and all that jazz. And then all these 8 people were like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is really working for me. And I was like, yeah, no. And it really took me ages to really understand that this was new information to so many people. And even now, I still feel a bit embarrassed that that program went on to sell and make like £3 million from that program alone. 2,000 paying clients. People pay like £3,000 to be in it. Like all of these people in this group who are all just doing these 3 things every day on LinkedIn, and it's working for them and they're getting clients. So I was like, it's almost like thanks to that man who kind of persuaded me that this would be of interest to people, but really thanks for all my amazing clients who've took my advice, done the work and got the results. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 10 years. Yeah.
I've got a question. Do you think the man in the cheap suit's got a better suit now?
Well, I like to think so. And you know what? I really like telling that story because I think from the power of the internet, hopefully he will find me and he'll be like, I was the guy. You do owe me a pint. And I definitely do owe him a pint. So it was just one of those things that something that seems really obvious to me, and loads of your listeners will be like this, something that seems really obvious to you that you do without even a second thought. When you tell someone else and they're like, oh, this is new, and then they get a result, that's when you realize, oh, you're really onto something, because what seemed obvious to me and still seems really obvious to me is still brand new information to other people. So yeah, I've made all of my money from just saying the same thing over and over again for a decade.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It's a
that is,
powerful
isn't it?
thing, isn't it? Because
Well,
you
and
are
also
the
a lot of
LinkedIn
people
lady.
don't want to do that. They're like, oh, I want to do new things all the time and I want to be a new person all the time. And I'm like, I just did the same thing for a decade and that's cool. Now I'm going to do something else for a decade and that's cool. Because that's how you really get known for your thing, is by saying the same thing over and over again, even if it bores you. It's not about you, is it? It's about the person who's receiving the information for the first time, right?
Well, actually, that is something that I want to say, like, sort of hang on a little bit, because it isn't about you. And so how do you, like, having done that for 10 years, rinse and repeated it, having these great results though, how do you, like, if someone turns around and says, I can't just do that one thing, what would you say to somebody who's in that position if you knew that it would be the best thing ever for that person just to keep doing one thing and getting that really good?
what I would say to them is that's your choice. You know, hey, I'm not here to tell anyone how to run a business. I can only tell you what worked for me, right? Now, I do get this from people. They're like, I don't want to keep doing the same thing. I don't want to keep saying the same things. I'm a multi-passionate, multi-potentialite, multifaceted, beautiful unicorn of an entrepreneur, and I need to do all of the different things, right? And that's fine, as long as you go into that like fully informed. And the informed way to go into that is you're going to confuse the fuck out of everyone you meet and yourself for a decade. And that's okay. If that's what you want to do, if that's the hill you're prepared to die on, and then fine. Like, I'm not here to tell anyone how to run a business. Maybe I am, but you know, it's like, that's your choice, babe. And that's what you want to do, great. But you will confuse yourself, yeah? And you will be like, who am I today? What am I doing today? You'll confuse your audience, who'll be like, what is she doing again? Or what are they doing again? And what will happen is that will impact your sales, not to the point where you can't do it. I know loads of people that do loads of different things, right? But if you really want scale and growth and be famous for one thing, then being very one track focused. And what I would say is, like, I'm known for LinkedIn, but all the stuff I do at the back end, the ideal client work, the avatar work, you know, the marketing side of things, the social media side of things, the video, the content, the mindset, all that stuff is happening. But I don't sell all of those things at once because people are like, oh, what is this jumble sale that is being sold to me?
Oh,
Instead,
jumble
I
sale.
give them a really good outcome of like, you're going to look fabulous, you know, whatever, you know, we're going to pull it all together at the back end. That's the bit we're not going to, I don't sell the back end, I sell the front end. So like now, ideal client avatar, you'll know your ideal client avatar better than you know yourself is the outcome. How we do that behind the scenes is, you know, the glorious messiness of what works for some people won't for others, and what they'll learn from me is from others. I've got a whole, you know, thing behind the scenes around above the line, below the line, strategy positive, strategy negative, all that stuff I won't bore you with because I know you want to talk about LinkedIn, but there's loads of stuff behind the scenes. But from the front, the more clear you can be, the easier it is for people to buy from you. That's what I would say. So I'm saying, if someone says to me, I want to do loads of different things, I'm like, cool, you do you, obviously. Because that's the point of being a business, isn't it? Not doing what I tell you to do. It's what you want to do. So if it feels good to you to have loads of different things and wear loads of different hats and not know how to introduce yourself to people when you meet them because you don't know who you're talking to and what they might need from you, then that's fine. But go into it knowing that the impact of that is going to be your audience will be confused. You'll feel confused. The sales may or may not align with that. And that's okay. If that's more important to you than not wanting to say the same thing over and over again. But the thing, what I would say is, if you really, so like with me with LinkedIn, like I did a LinkedIn guest expert before Christmas, and it was like my last one, if that makes sense, officially my last one. I must have done thousands of them, right? And I still loved that session. I was absolutely buzzing. I came off it on a massive high. I loved the way that see the pennies dropping for people and like people really getting it and be like making sense to them and going and taking action. So I still love it just as much as I did 10 years ago. And I think that's important. If you really get bored of the thing that you're selling, you definitely shouldn't be selling it. If you can't think of things to post every day about the thing that you're selling, you're in the wrong business. Because you should love it so much that you could talk about it forever and ever. Amen, right?
Yeah. And
Never run out of
if
things to
someone
say and
said,
never get bored of it.
if someone said, I don't mind doing the same thing, but I think people are going to get bored of hearing the same thing.
Just get new people. So people do. So will people get bored of hearing you say the same thing? Probably. And in Mel Robbins's words, let them, right? So like, that's normal. So what we do instead is we find new people to say the same thing to, or the same people who are never the same people on the next day. So there's people, so I've done over 40 launches, right? 45-day challenge launches. Yeah, and all of the jiggery pokery that goes with that, like running ads, running a big 5-day challenge, wearing a different hat and drinking wine every night, you know, delivering to thousands of people, teaching the same thing over and over again. Now, why have I been able to do that for 10 years and people that came on the first one came on the last one? Because they've changed. They're different. Their business, they hear it differently. They feel it differently. It's like my responsibility is not make sure it lands with somebody. My responsibility is keep showing up and telling people this stuff because I feel so passionate that LinkedIn is the answer to a lot of business problems. And a lot of business problems around, I haven't got clarity, I don't know my ideal client, I'm not making sales, I don't have a platform that I can rely on, I don't have a conversion mechanism that I can rely on. I think LinkedIn solves a lot of problems. So I'm super passionate about LinkedIn because I'm passionate about solving problems. Now, do people meet me and go, oh my God, I cannot stand that woman? Yeah, and they do because they tell me, they email me sometimes. I don't know who I'm supposed to escalate this to, but anyway, they email me about me. You know, you're too much, you're too northern, you talk too fast, you drink too much, you swear too much, you go off on tangent too much, you're too direct, all that, right? You move around in your chair too much. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I should be a robot. But there's the same people that message in and be like, oh my God, I love you so much because you talk so much and you talk really fast and you're northern and you swear and you drink wine and you're dead direct and all the rest of it. But also I can have somebody who meets me and is like, not ready for that. Then they go right on the full circle. They go off and, go and follow someone else, which is fine. I have people blocking me and then unblocking me to say, I'm back. I couldn't deal with you and now I'm back. And that's like, all of that is none of my business. That's just other people not being in the right space or ready for it. There's always going to be people that hate you. That's okay.
That's a really hard thing for a lot of business owners to do, isn't it? And I think I feel like it's definitely prevalent in any industry. And again, we can only speak on behalf of ours, really. But yeah, I think for dog people anyway, who have either fallen into it because it's a hobbyist business or they've gone, I'm all about the animal. I'm so passionate about the animal. And our industry, again, not unlike any other one out there, incredibly toxic. Like you feel if you say something, you're going to offend somebody, and this is more you're going to offend
and
your
that's
peers,
okay. Yeah,
not even not even your potential customer. You're going to offend a colleague. It's like it's not a colleague. They're fucking at the other end of the.
Somebody else who
they're
does what you
somewhere
do.
else. They're not even anywhere near you. They're not a colleague. How can you offend somebody? And yeah, I think it's a really, really difficult thing for someone to go. Like it's easy said, isn't it? But then to go, oh, I've actually got to do it now.
Well, this is it. So I learned this quite early on. And yeah, I'm in the online space, but the most hate I got early on was from other LinkedIn people and other marketers. Because everything I was saying was opposite of what they've been saying for years. So it was like, this woman's just turned up and saying opposite to what we've been saying. Like all the DMing people were like mad about me. Like, honestly, someone was like, and then I was talking about posting all the time. So I was like, oh yeah, post 4 times a day. And everyone was like, oh my God, you can't tell people this. I remember on LinkedIn, someone was like, oh, I got told, someone said, if you post more than once a day, you break the algorithm and some other bullshit, whatever they're making up. And then someone said, oh, I follow someone who told me to post, as many times as I want. I can post 4 times a day. And she put, what idiot is teaching this? And she tagged me in. I was like, oh, thanks.
Charming.
Thanks for that, babe. Yeah. And I was like, listen, you can post as much as little as you want. That's what I'm saying. What you're saying is people who post more than once a day are stupid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we can post as much as we want. We've got plenty to say. The more you post, the more sales you make. But in the early days, I used to get really upset. So I talk about strategy is up here above the line. So strategy is the stuff that we do. Yeah, so stuff that we do, you can see it, you can measure it, it's real. Yeah, you got money in the bank, you can see it. If you haven't, you can't, right? But underneath strategy is soul, right? And underneath this is all supports the strategy. So this is our feelings. These are the things that we feel and we think and the energetics and how we're like vibrating and moving through the world, right? And in business, this really supports the strategy and the strategy impacts the soul underneath. And I think one thing I've realized is, and someone told me this early on and it took me a while to understand it, you can't have one without the other. You got negative, positive. It's just the way it is. It's the way the world is. So you can't have loads of people who love you without having loads of people that hate you. Yeah. And in any industry, you cannot have one without the other. It doesn't matter if you're Beyonce or you're Graham the dog guy who's got the ITV show, right? And, everyone hates Graham the dog guy. But loads of people love Graham the dog guy. I'm guessing you know what I mean when I say Graham
Yeah.
with the cravat,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, good old
Polarizing, his methods are this, his methods are that, he's this, he's that. I see it all on the internet. And then there's all the people like, oh, but he's quite handsome and I quite like him. And isn't he funny, really cute with the dogs? And he's like, it's a TV show. But it's just pantomime. It's just panto, right? He don't care. He's laughing all the way to the bank. So he's like, I'm the one that's on the telly. Yeah, you'd all kill to be on the telly. But you're not on the telly, so you're all hating me from the sidelines, right? But it's kind of like, it's okay. Let Graham do what he's doing. You get on doing what you're doing. You know, so, but it's like this in every single industry. It's like that in the LinkedIn. I had to block everybody. I was getting like death threats. I was like, you know, and we're in the LinkedIn game, right? It's like, for God's sake, get a grip. But then on the bigger thing, the market
Death
inside the
threats
online
from
space.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
what?
it is what it is. You gotta have one without the other. Yeah, loads of people hate Beyonce, just as many people that love her, right? And you got outliers on everything. So some people think Beyonce eats and kills babies, you know, and some people want to have babies with Beyonce because they love her so much. So there's everything's like on this spectrum. But what I would say, if you want love and you want an audience, you got to take the hate because it's two sides of the same coin. Does it mean it's nice when people are horrible about you as a person? No, it's horrible. You know, I'm not some robot who's like, I don't care what people think. Of course I care what people think. Yeah. And when people don't like me and my personal brand, obviously it's not going to feel good. But it's also, I can't have that and then be like, yeah, but I want everyone just to say nice things to me and nice things about me. I can focus on the nice things and try and bounce back from the negatives. But ultimately, if I want a big audience means big money. And you got to take the rough with the smooth. That's what I would say. But what I would say as a dog business owner, you think you're special because you love animals and that's why you're in business. But we're all the same. We're all good people doing good work. Not, better because you work with animals than if you work with helping someone make money. We're all flawed human beings doing our best. So it's almost like you don't get a pass. It's a bit like the spiritual community. So I used to be a reflexologist and I was deep in the spiritual community and the spiritual business community. I call it like witches and bitches. Like it is so toxic. There's like so much negativity and so many people trying to drag each other down. So again, because you're in the spiritual doesn't make it beautiful and fun and easy all the time. So I just say it probably feels like it's just your game, but it won't be because that's the dog. It won't just be your game. It's every game's the same, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is you just see it everywhere, don't you?
No. I wish I didn't see it everywhere, but I do see it everywhere.
And I think this is a really good one for people to be listening to, because I think that thought process of it's our industry, it's very specific. Like we have to think of the dogs and we have to think of the owners and we have to think of all of this stuff. And we're special because we're taking on this emotional burden, which, okay, to a point you are kind of taking on double. However, it depends if you're working with multiple humans not doing a dog related business. That's taking on emotional burden of more people than so it's just another head in the camp.
Imagine running a nursery where you got to deal with parents and children, also very precious, and you've got all of this dynamic. So I think what I would say though, my message is around clients is it's not you, it's them. So my mission, if you like, for the next 10 years is to get you to understand that you are a great person doing great work. And if you get the wrong clients, that can make or break you as an entrepreneur because you start to think it's you. You get a run of bad clients and you start to think, I'm the problem. Yeah, it's just, I'm not cut out for business. I'm not cut out for this business. I'm not cut out for doing this or stepping up to the next level. It's not that you're just attracting the wrong clients, and you're attracting the wrong clients because you're not in the right headspace as well as strategic space. This is why this above and below the line thing. But it's like if you get great clients, a great client will make you feel like you're the best practitioner of what you do. They make you feel 10 foot tall, $1 million, like you are the greatest insert thing that you do that's ever walked the earth, but nothing's changed except the person in front of you. So client attraction is the most important part of business, because if you get this right, you'll have it'll feel like, and it'll look like you've been really lucky and everything's just gone your way and everything's just turned up for you. And it's just been, it'll look like from the outside, or even sometimes feels from the inside, that, wow, all these amazing clients and all this amazing opportunity, and aren't I really lucky? But if you get it wrong, you get the wrong clients, then I believe that is what pushes people out of business. I don't think it's mindset, strategy, tactics. It's the wrong client can honestly it can really affect you, like on a real soul level, on a emotional level, on a mental health level. So you've got to be very careful about the clients that you attract and the clients that you accept or reject as well.
Yeah, I would actually say that is probably one of the biggest flaws that dog professions, like trainers, behaviourists, walkers, groomers, all of that stuff, anyone working with dogs, I think that's their biggest flaw, in that they have no idea who their client avatar is. They don't
No,
know
and
who
they
they're
say
trying
yes to
market
anyone
to.
because they think money's money. Money
Yeah.
is only money if you've got no money. So what I would say is, I'd never say to somebody, say no to business if you are flat broke and you can't pay your mortgage and you can't feed your kids, right? Because that would be irresponsible. But as soon as you, and as before if possible, have got an option, you've got to get really ruthless. Get really clear on your avatar, but get really ruthless at saying no. Because, all right, everyone listening to this now, think about your worst ever client. And I know they just popped into your head. Right. So they popped into your head. You can talk, you know them. You could tell me a story about this client. Yeah. Who they are, what they did, how they ended up working with you. Right. And they pop into your head so clearly because they have scarred you for life. Yeah. They have made you feel awful. They've made you feel like your work you do isn't valuable, like you don't know what you're doing, like you're not good at what you do, that you're worthless, and they've made you feel a really deep negative feelings, right? But what we forget to do is put our dream client in our heads. So when we visualize our best ever client and how that person made me feel, and how we could have even better vision, but that person who made you feel amazing, we almost take those for granted, but we spend a lot of time in our feelings with our worst ever client. So really do that exercise of thinking of your best ever client, your worst ever client, and seesaw between how those two people made you feel. Because what I want people to do is get in the energetics of the great client and do strategic work. So do your posting on social, working on LinkedIn, putting out offers, showing up in person from that energy, and not from, oh my God, this client is awful, I need better clients. You know what I mean? That energetic manifesting space of like, this is shit, I don't want more of this. It's like, let's get into energetic space of, this is wonderful and I want more of this. And how can I attract and have gratitude and magnetize and magnify more of this? So we move our business fully into this half, the right hand quadrant, if you like, this right hand world where things are good on a strategic, on a soul level. And I think it's very underrated in business. It's almost, we're told that all clients are clients, all money's money, just take the money, that's business. You're not going to love all your clients, or you're not going to have all great clients. It's like, since when was that a thing? When did we decide that? So instead, deciding who your dream client is and proactively moving towards them and posting about them and talking to them is going to obviously attract more of those people to you. And I think whether you attract them on LinkedIn or anywhere, is that worst client that you thought of before, did you know deep down they were a red flag client before you said yeah? Were there warning signs that you ignored? Yeah, right. And you normally ignore them because you want the money. Yeah. Or sometimes you want the prestige. See this a lot in corporate. We take this client because they're amazing and they're going to look good in our portfolio, not because this is a really good person who's got the same values as me and we're going to be on a mission together and do great work. So I think trying to get out of that mindset of any client at any cost, I think is really, really valuable. And just because somebody wants to give you money does not mean you have to say yes.
Yeah.
You run your business. You can say no to money. In fact, the pro move is saying no to money. You should be saying no to more clients than you're saying yes to, because you should be curating a client list that brings you joy. And a really good way of testing this is have a look in your diary.
Yeah.
Have a look in your diary. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? How do they make you feel? And if you've got anyone screaming red in that diary, you're going to have to fire them today. Because it's just going to bring your energy down to a point that you're not able to really show up and deliver great work. Although most of us are really good at overcoming a lot of that, but it's not your best work because you're not really you're not really in that energy. But also it's just going to drag you down energetically in terms of manifesting and attracting more clients, right? So sacking clients is the best thing you can do for your business because it sends out a huge energetic and strategic flag in the sand of like, we are not here for this anymore. And the other thing is they might be a terrible client for you, but an amazing client for someone else.
Yeah.
So send them on their way with love, right?
Yeah, it's always the way. But you know what? I can actually hear people at the moment like screaming in their heads going, what do you mean? Like, I haven't even got enough inquiries coming in, and now you're telling me to get rid of the ones that are already in my diary who have paid me? Are you fucking nuts? I've got no money and I've got no inquiries. Like, what?
Hey,
what?
We've all done stuff for money. We knew it was the right thing to do. So yeah, like I say, I don't want you to start putting yourself into financial difficulty. I do have a spare room, but I do not want people knocking. Hi Helen, I listened to that podcast you're on. I sacked all my clients because they were all red. Like now I can't eat.
1,000 dog trainers.
So like, what's for tea? Yeah, but like really look into the future. If we have more clients like this, we just have more problems like this, more energetic problems like this. So like when we're out attracting clients, when we know what is a red flag client to us, even just do that as an exercise, write down what's green flags to you, what's red flags to you. You don't have to go mad with this. Just 5 on each side. Write your content, posts on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or wherever else you hang out, or all of them, to the green flag people.
Yeah. I think this is something that, again, dog trainers specifically really struggle with because like how you was talking about earlier, like this jumble sale of all the products and all the services and all the stuff. Or dog trainers are like brilliant at doing this. It's like, right, I've got puppy class, dog class, adolescent class, 1-to-1 for puppy, 1-to-1 for an adult dog, reactive, loose lit, like the list goes on. All the stuff. And you avid listeners out there, you will know we bang on about this all the time. And it's too much, stop it. But anyway, so with all of that, and then I'm thinking, right, who's my ideal target person then? Who's that avatar? Who am I talking to? What am I actually supposed to write? Because, well, okay, I might know who I like working with. And again, we hear this a lot. I like working with lots of people though, because I do all these products and all these services. I like working with that couple because they're lovely. But then I also like working with that family because, I don't know, weirdly, they've got kids and it's family, but I like that. But then I also like the little pensioner Marge over there because she's awesome. So who am I talking to? Because every product and service is going to attract a slightly different person. And I think those that operate from a group setting, you tend to currently anyway, because you're mass marketing and generalizing everything, you're going to get a general bunch of people that rock up.
Yeah, you will. And that's okay. And for generations, that's using this example of a local dog trainer, right? That's how it's operated. Well, that's how everyone operates. Yeah. So you're just one of another in the marketplace. If you don't differentiate yourself, no one's going to differentiate you for you, So just give it a different example was like when I trained as a holistic therapist, I did massage, Indian head, Hopi ear candles, reflex, whatever, right? What everyone else did. And I qualified and I could do any of those things. So you'd think, well, surely I should be selling all of those things. Well, actually, the thing I actually liked doing was reflexology. And the reason I got into it was because I had it when I was pregnant. So I did a little mini extra course, wasn't a lot, it was only a couple of days, on maternity reflexology. So reflexology for fertility and pregnancy. And I just did that. And I charged more than everyone else for it because it's like, I only do that. So then I had a queue of people coming from all over the Northwest who were trying for babies or were pregnant. And all I did all day was see like eggs on legs, just big fat, pregnant women. It was great, right? But that was my thing.
I love
So
your
I just got
phrases.
really well known for it, and it was just like, I was just an unpaid counsellor, really, talking about them having this baby and the husband's useless and all the rest of it. And I'd do the feet and it'd be lovely. But like, I was known for that. So I could charge more for it and people would come to me. Why would they go to Sally down the road who was doing massage in the morning, reflexology in the afternoon, Hopi ear candles on a Tuesday? And do you know what I mean? It's just, you become a generalist, so you don't seem like a specialist in anything. So what I would push back to your clients would be, deep down, of all the things you do prefer doing some things than others. You do. You do love it more than others. You do prefer working with a certain type of dog than others. There'll be a certain breed of dog that when it shows up, you're like, yes. Yeah. And there'll be a certain breed of dog that when it shows up, you think, oh shit, no. But can be different for everybody. You might love working with massive, enormous dogs. I don't know. There's loads of different ways you could differentiate yourself in the market. You've got the type of dog, you've got the type of owner, you've got the area, you've got the thing that you're doing, you've got the way that you do the thing, and then you've got your weird hobby. Never underestimate the power of your weird hobby, by the way, when it comes to marketing. So like, it's the more niche you can be, the more specific you can be, the more specialist you can be. Take me, for example, with Dave. So Dave's a sausage dog. I've never had a sausage dog in my life before, didn't know anything about them. He was bought for me as a present at Christmas. I know.
My God.
I was like,
Everybody listening is going to be like,
are you insane? I was like, are you insane? You got me a designer dog at Christmas from your mate who's had it. I was like, I'm going to get cancelled here. This is the worst. And he's like, yeah, but because I foster for rescues. He's like, yeah, but you keep bringing these random dogs. I mean, that's the point. I'm fostering for the rescue. I was like, oh my God, you've so missed the mark with this. But anyway, didn't even post about him for ages. I was in like traumatic shock for a little while. I was just like, I can't believe you've done this. Like, what were you even thinking? Anyway, so sorry, letting the aforementioned dog in. Anyway, okay, I calmed down eventually, and it's like, he's very cute, obviously, he's a dog and all the rest of it. But then I plugged myself in to every Dachshund Facebook group there is. Dachshunds are awesome, Dachshunds Northwest, Dachshunds for days, Dachshund meetup, Dachshund behaviorals, Dachshund low. And then I'd start seeing specialist Dachshund behavioral ads, So now I'm like, Yorkshire Canine Academy, I think he's called. See, I remember that. I don't know the guy. And he always got sausage dogs. He's always talking about sausage dogs. He's always talking about the breed traits and everything, right? So, because I'm like laser focused in, I'm not interested in any other dogs because I've just got Dave now. Dave's my life, right? Dave's my 5th child. But it's like, why would I wouldn't want to be in a dog group because I don't care about an Alsatian today. Do you know what I mean? I'm not I used to be big into Springers, right? And when I was into Springers, Now I've got a sausage dog, which I don't know classes as a real dog, but anyway, he's technically a dog, but he's got, he hasn't got Springer brains, obviously. But he's got his own problems, special. He's got special needs, hasn't he? Because of how he's been overbred, basically. Anyway, so it's like specialists over generalists every time, right? So why do dog business owners think that they don't need to specialize?
Yeah, it's fear, isn't it? It's fear of if I go down that one thing, or like that niching, if you want to call it that, or whatever it is. Like, if you want to be the specialist in something, look at all the potential work you're losing out on, because now you're going to be saying no to people, and you're not going to be offering the things that person wants.
So what I would say to that is, you know what? Let's just try it. So what my word for this year with my mentoring is relax. Right? Because I think we get really tense about everything, don't we? It's like, got to make this decision, I've got to do this, and I've got to do it. It's like what if we just tried it? What if we just brought out an offer? So not our whole business, but just one offer that was a specialist offer for a specialist breed, specialist thing, right? So for example, near us, we have like sausage dog meetup thing, right? So what if I just did a sausage dog behavioural session for 8 sausages, and that was it? And that was just an offer. I'm not saying I'm only going to work with sausage dogs. I'm just going to do this one specialist offer. Let's just do that. And when we've got that niche, the sausage dog thing. I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent. But when we put that offer, it's a lot easier for you to promote it because you can go to where all the sausage dog people are, right? And sausage dog people all hang out together in these groups, as I know, right? So now it's easier to promote it. It's easier to market it because we can put pictures of sausages on it. We can talk about it more because we can be like, we all know sausages like other sausages. And, you know, wouldn't it be fun to have a whole pack of sausages and we can talk about all sausage problems together, right? I see what I mean. But I know there'll be people listening to this screaming, going, it's a dash out. My professional reputation would not bear such a thing. Anyway, I just have
I
to
love
run with
it.
it.
I would totally go down a sausage market.
Yeah, exactly. So you could have pictures of sausages, you could have packs of Richmond sausages, you could have lots of cute pictures of sausage dogs. It'd be a lot easier for people to see what it is visually because it'd be this kind of niche. Be able to market it easier. You'd be able to also go to other people who sell things to sausage dogs. So you could go and say, hi, you make coats for sausage dogs. This is a thing because they're a weird shape, like a sausage. So, hi, I know you make this, you know, I'm doing this thing. It'd be really good if you could maybe come along. You could sell your coats and you could maybe email your people and I could email my people about your coats. And you know, so suddenly you're able to start building these relationships and having these conversations based on the niche. Because if you're like a generalist dog owner, like, it's like, hi, I run a dog training thing and you make dog hats or whatever. Like, it's almost like it hasn't got that same, oh my God, yeah. We've got a really niche audience and we could mix this thing together. And I think what I would say is you can still be a generalist day to day. You don't have to change your website or anything, but let's make a niche specific offer of something that you love, something you would love to do, put a massive price on it. Yeah. So you're not like doing it because it's you want to do it. You're doing it because it's a commercial thing. Let's put a bit more price on it because it's a specialist thing, not a you know, a generalist thing. This isn't something it's limited. There's only 8 sausages allowed to go, so you can charge more, get more, whatever it might be, right? But find an offer where you're adding loads of value, you're getting loads of joy, you're making loads of money, and let's put it out there. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, talk directly to this person who would come along to it and nobody else. And let's see how it goes. Because I know how it'll go. It'll go really fucking well. And then they'll be like, oh my God, I didn't realize that people would really respond to this. And then we do it again and again and again. And then over time, you become a specialist rather than a generalist. I think that's how I would approach it if someone came to me and said, that's too scary for me. You know, oh, it's too much for me. I would say, let's do an offer and put it to market. And then if I'm wrong, you've not lost much. You know what I mean? You can put something out and not sell it. I put things out that don't sell all the time. So if I'm wrong, you can be right. And if I'm right, you can be rich. So you can't lose.
Yes, it's like doing it with a little micro commitment towards that goal, isn't it? I like that.
Yeah.
'Cause that is a big.
I feel like I'm going to be this really annoying, like petulant child today because I'm just in the mood to do it.
Yeah,
so
let's go for it.
I'm in the I'm in the mindset of to caveat, this is not my mindset. I know our audience very well, but no one's going to want to pay for that, or somebody else is going to do that cheaper. Something like you can
Let
hear
them be
all the
cheaper.
excuses.
Good. Let them be
coming up,
cheaper.
isn't it?
We want everyone else to be cheaper than us. We want to be the most expensive in the market always because that represents us being the best.
But people aren't
They're
going to
not
pay
gonna
it.
buy
They're
it.
not going to pay it. It's cost of
Well-
living crisis, Helen.
Okay, great, right? So what people? So I've got a sausage dog and I live in £1 million house. I can afford pretty much anything I want.
But there's not many of those people. You're
There
like an
are.
anomaly.
There are, because there's one that lives on our road, also in £1 million house.
I love this
Next
like
question.
live role play. It's great.
It's great, isn't it? It's great.
So no, what I would
You
say
can
is,
hear all
okay, well,
these
let's
things that
do
people are gonna
the
come up with.
avatar work for this one offer. This person has got so much money, they don't even know what to do with it. Yeah. Let's make them wildly wealthy. Yeah. Let's make them an entrepreneur who's bought and sold and scaled 5 businesses. They've got £1 million in the bank. They've got a husband that's also an entrepreneur and he's, you know, working at one of the biggest tech startups in the country, and they have a sausage dog.
I got really excited this week because one of our clients said they want to work with high profile dog owners.
Yes.
I was like,
exactly.
oh my God,
Celebrities, high
that's
profile.
amazing.
One thing that really wealthy people do is have dogs, and they have dog walkers, and they spend money on their dogs. Like, you don't have to only work with broke people with smelly dogs. Like, there's plenty of nice, great people out there. And I'm talking at that top end, but I live in a really nice area, like I've just said. But like around here, like the average house price is like £500,000. Do you know what I mean? So like it's a nice, affluent South Warrington area. You know, you can drive a mile and it's not so affluent. But literally everybody around here has got a dog. It's like it's a designer accessory for most people. Do you know what I mean? They've got prams that are like, they've got they've got prams that cost more than my car. I'm not really into cars, so I've got an Astra, but they've got cars that are worth 20, 30 grand. They've got kids that they spend 60, 70 quid on a pair of school shoes. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't they spend 100 quid to do something with the dog at the weekend, right? Well, yes, I can go to the puppy, like, Mrs. Puppy at the church hall thing. But that's where everybody goes. I want to go to somewhere that's a bit more exclusive, a bit more for me and Dave, right? A bit more designed for us, a bit more. The thing is, the more you can charge, the better the experience you can deliver. You can give us like bow ties and things. We're not supposed to humanize dogs, are we? I feel like there's a lot of places I could trip up on this podcast.
Oh no, you can say anything you want with us. No, but what I was going to say was, so you could absolutely
Give us a goodie
target.
bag, for example.
Yeah,
you
there's
could.
loads of
Do
things.
you know what I mean? You could get a really nice venue. You could get a photographer in to take really nice photos. You know what I mean? You could make it a really luxury experience if you make us pay properly for it. I don't want to pay 20 quid and be in a shitty field. I want to pay 150 quid and be in a nice enclosed garden at the back of a nice hotel. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like I do for myself. I don't want to pay 30 quid to be at the Premier Inn. I want to pay 300 quid to be in a suite with a nice view, that sort of thing. So there's somebody at every level for every price. And I think dogs, like kids, there's no upper limit. Is there?
No.
That surely has got to be a limit in belief. Because
It's a massive limiting belief. Massive.
yeah, it's a
limiting
massive.
belief.
Okay, but it's not true. So go to where those high-end dog owner people hang out. So, for example, go and find the most expensive dog harness you can find online. It'll probably be like, there'll be some like dog import. There's one near us in Hale. It's like this dog emporium. Me and my daughter walked in and were like, oh my God, this ain't no Pets at Home. Right? And in fact, we don't like them either. But anyway, there's this it was like this boutique. It's on the high street in this really nice area. And there was like, crystal infused, like little doggy things. There was carriers with fur in and things like that. There was really high end food. There was like, you know what I mean, top of the range stuff. There was no like pedigree chum or like crappy Pets at Home type, you know what I mean, toys. It was all really fancy. There was designer stuff there as well. There was like Gucci this and Gucci that. And we loved it. We spent £25. That was the cheapest thing in the shop and we left. But it was, and people were coming in with their little doggies and the people that were coming in are all wealthy women with pampered pooches, right? So if there's somebody out there that will spend 100 grand on a Gucci, like, do you know what I mean? Like emporium bedding for their chihuahuas. There's somebody out there that'll spend 100 quid on going to a specialist dog day thing.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that those services that we're positioned, it's about the way the service is positioned, because you might find that someone who hasn't got loads of money values going somewhere, like you said, I don't want to go to a field for 20 quid. I want to go somewhere for 130 quid and have a great experience. There could be somebody who hasn't got oodles of money, but actually wants to put it to that because they're going to have a better experience off the back of it. So I think sometimes when we're talking to our clients, they're going like, well, I can't charge that, or I can't like put my fees to that because I have to then go to the rich areas. But actually, I don't think you do. I think it's all about the way that we are putting the value across for it. And if people want to come, they
And
can
what's
come
wrong
from
with
anywhere.
the rich areas? What's wrong with
Nothing's
rich
wrong
people?
with the rich areas,
We're
but
people too.
yeah, but I think
We're
sometimes
not bad people. Like one of the things I hear all the time is like, oh, single mums. I can't sell to single mums, got no money. I was like, I was single for 8 years. I had so much money. I had so much more money when I was single than since I've been married, because I'm married now. And it's like I'm blended a family and we've got more children and all the rest of it. So like, honestly, I would definitely challenge that belief. And like, do you want to be a Rolex or do you want to be a Casio? Like, they both tell the time. So you can let somebody else deal with the lower end of the market from a price point of view, not from a person point of view. I'm not saying people with money are better or worse, because they're not. What I'm saying is from a in the market positioning, you've got your, whatever we said, 20 quid field, you got your 150 quid experience. Let somebody serve this market and you serve that market. So there'll be loads of people who can't afford that, and that's okay. I charge like £1,000 minimum to get on a call with me. Like, loads of people can't afford that, and that is okay. I don't start going, oh, you know what, I'll do it for a tenner because you've got no money. It's like that's not how the world works.
No.
So when
I think that's
when I
a
first
good
started
lesson,
out, I
actually.
charged 100 quid for a call. Now it's over £1,000. So like, your pricing is no one else's business, and other people's ability to pay for you is no one else's business. You can build a business at any level on that. From 10 quid up to 150 quid. You can build a business at any level. So you might as well pick one that feels right for you, feels good to you.
Yeah. And and again, I would imagine there are a lot of people listening to this who are having very big feelings about
Yes.
this topic, very big feelings of going like, like, how can you just talk so rashly about money, and like, oh, maybe it's all right for you, and
Yeah,
all
of
of this,
course.
and well, you, maybe we don't even care about these dogs, and we're in it for the dogs and all of that. But actually, what I would encourage everyone listening to actually take out of this is, you get to choose the type of business you want to run. If you want to, as we definitely coining this, we're going to put this on some merch. I'm going to like commit to it. Hashtag scratting, or rather no more scratting. If you want to keep scratting around and doing
Yeah.
all of these low ticket things, that's absolutely your choice. And I don't know, like the way that Vicky and I looked at it is that I would say our dog training business is a premium business. It's a high ticket product that we offer.
Yeah.
It's not
Good.
ridiculously high ticket, so it's you can keep a business running. But actually, what that has allowed us to do, and similarly in Canine Business Academy with this business, we're high ticket again, but that affords us more time to give away so much stuff for free.
Exactly. I sleep lovely at night, charging £1,000 an hour. Like, I sleep lovely because I do so much for free. I got so much. Like I said before, I've done 10 years of free training, free advice, free support, free challenges. So I do loads for free. I'm in the process of writing a book, which will be going, so you'll be able to get all my wisdom for like a tenner or whatever a book is nowadays. So it's not that. I'm like, you have to pay. But if you want the proximity to be in the space with me, given my many years of experience on your business, then there's a premium to pay for that. And it's the same. You can give out all your stuff about how you help dogs for free through your content. But if they want to be in the proximity with you of a small group of 8 dogs having this experience with you, you pay a premium for that. And that's how it should be, surely.
Yeah.
It's like listening to Beyonce on Spotify is free, or $14.99 a month, whatever. Going to the concert is like 100 quid, but you want to meet the woman, you're talking about 1,500 quid, right? And that's just to say hi. Because it's proximity, you still get the music, you still get you still have a great experience. It doesn't make you better or worse. It just, you can't get that close to people. And I think what a lot of people do in a lot of industries, including mine, so marketing, is I want to help everybody. Yeah, I want to be able to help everybody. I want to be able to help people at an affordable price. And the cheaper I can make it, the more accessible it'll be for more people. And actually, the truth is, the more you charge, the more impact you have, because when people show up, they show up and they really take action and do the work. And your guys must see this. I can read a book, I can watch YouTube, but nothing is ever going to compare to having a dog behaviourist in my house with me and working with me, right? It's about me, not the dog, yeah? Which says so much about me, Dave's behaviour. But like, having you guys in my house is more valuable than me listening to the podcast. Agree? Yeah. Going to an event where you guys are speaking is more valuable than just listening to the podcast, right? Because I can get and speak to you afterwards and hear it, right? So it's just moving through the process in terms of the person who's receiving it is readiness to take action with it. So if all you ever did was free stuff, your impact would be actually very low. Your reach would be wide, but your impact would be low because people would watch it, listen to it, be like, yeah, sounds great, but like now people will listen to this, like, yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I might put my prices up, blah, blah, blah. But if someone working with me and I say, this is what we're going to do, and I stand with them until they do the things they've got to do, they've got a much higher chance of getting a result and creating a business that gives them what they want than just listening to me on the podcast. And it's the same for them, for their clients. So the other thing I would say on that is it's as easy to sell something high ticket as it is low. It takes the same amount of energy, the same amount of marketing ecosystem required. You still need an ideal client avatar. You still need a marketing. You still need a route to that market. You still need some kind of sales process, So you might as well sell high ticket than low because it's the same amount of effort. Volume is a really difficult game to be in, I think. Low ticket, high volume is the hardest business model to crack. But yet you feel like it's going to be the easiest because it's only a tenner.
Yeah, a lot of dog trainers are looking at the online space in that kind of mindset and going like, but it's going to be easier because I need to do less and it can just sell in the background. And it's like, actually, it's a lot harder to do it that way around, actually. Getting
A
yourself
lot of people
out
come
there.
to me because they want to do what I've done, right? And build a big group program. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I make the same amount of money with a lot less stress just doing consultancy, right? Because you can charge more and it's a lot easier to run, right? I mean, I charge $3,000, so it's not low ticket, but it's lower ticket. But to do something at like 10 quid a month or 30 quid, just to me makes me feel like, even like that, the Yorkshire dog guy, I was like, oh, he's got this membership and you get all the training in there. And I signed up for it. And then I immediately cancelled it because I know myself. And I'll never watch those videos and never mind take action. I'll never watch the videos and the thing will just go out every month and that'll just annoy me. So it's just like human behavior is they want proximity and they want results. So the more proximity and results you can give them at a high ticket, the more impact you're going to have and the more money you're going to make. So it's like a win-win.
So when it comes to that, I want to talk to you a bit more about that free content actually, because your challenges that you do for your LinkedIn are renowned. You mentioned a little bit about your hats and drinking wine and stuff like that.
They're great.
And I guess that is, it comes back to that Marmite thing. Like there are people that are going to love that and then people going to not love that at all. So tell me a little bit about that thought process around why you do it like you do it. Where are you hoping to take people? Like, so you do your 5-day challenges. What's the point? Why are you doing it? Where's that going to take somebody?
So when I do a 5-day challenge, 97% of people don't buy from me. Yeah, so 97% of people come to my challenge, they enjoy the experience, they get a great result, but they don't buy from me. But 3% do. So 3% buy-in at $3,000 at volume means that, we do these kind of like 100K, whatever, launches. So it's just a numbers game, really. So I like to help as many people as possible I can for free, knowing that 3% of those people will convert and join my mastermind. So, which is now called the Ideal Client Attraction Mastermind, but was the LinkedIn Mastermind. It's the same thing, just a new shiny new coat on it. Hey, back in the chat. So the reason why that's why we do them. We do them so as many people as possible can get to know who I am and what I do, and a small percentage of those people will buy. The reason why I drink the wine and I wear the silly hats is just to keep me entertained. It's just because in business, if I'm not enjoying it and I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it. There's no way I would have done it if I knew. I used to do them every 6 weeks. If I knew every 6 weeks I'd have a week where I had to work, as in like be on a live between 5 and 6 p.m. So I wouldn't be able to have a drink. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I wouldn't be having fun. I just wouldn't do it. Whereas if I know I get to drink at 5 o'clock on a Monday when I'm doing a challenge, which is wild.
It's part and parcel of the work.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives me something to look forward to, have a little wine, and the hats are a more recent thing, but that was just me being silly and having fun with it. And then it was more for my team. So my team didn't know what I was going to wear. So I would get all ready, like different colour. Like I'd have like a pink cowboy hat and a pink lipstick and everything. And then I'd press go, and my team would all just like fall about laughing in the in the chat because they'd just be like, "Oh my god, what are you wearing?" And then it just became a thing, and it was just again, it's just me. It's just the most ridiculous thing in the world, isn't it? Like me at 4:45, like upstairs, like laughing to myself because I'm putting like a feather thing on my head and like a multicolored thing, and just like coming across the garden with my bottle of wine and my glass, like I don't know, it's just basically entertaining myself. And yeah, and it makes me more memorable,
I was going to say, it
and it
must have
makes
an
people
impact on your
remember it, and
audience as
it's
well.
trying to make something that sounds like it's going to be boring more fun, and bring in hopefully a bit of me and my personality to the party. Because the thing is, our main value in our business is that we put on a great show, that we want everyone to have a great time and a great experience, whether they're at a free thing, whether they're listening to me on a podcast, whether they're like coming to an event, whether they see me speaking, whether they come to a challenge, or whether they buy my stuff. I want them to feel like I'm entertaining them and want them to have a good experience, rather than it just be boring business stuff.
Yeah, I love that. It's cool. And also, what sort of value does someone walk away with from the 5-day challenge, for example?
So they understand how to. I tell you what, this would have changed. So normally I would say they'll understand how to get leads from LinkedIn, and they will. But the most important thing, which is why I'm focusing on it, they will understand how to create an ideal client avatar. And honestly, I know it's not trendy, and there's a lot of people out there writing posts that feel like they're targeted at me, but probably aren't, because I'm not that important. But a very trendy thing to write about now is you don't need an ideal client avatar. In fact, ideal client avatars aren't even inclusive, so we shouldn't even be doing them. You don't even need to know who somebody is or what they do. It doesn't matter. You can sell to anyone. That's the vibe. Now, I completely disagree, and this is a hill I'm prepared to die on for the next 10 years. I think everybody has to know their ideal client avatar by name and know everything about them and everything that they're thinking and feeling, so that they can show up and sell to them on a much deeper level. So the challenge really shows you that you can pick one person, and it doesn't break your business, it makes your business, and it gives you clarity and focus. So they come out of that experience thinking, I know who my ideal client is now. I can name them, I can talk to them, I can connect with them. And then what I teach now is a daily connection practice, where we actually go in and connect with our ideal client and talk to them about who they are, how they're feeling, and what they need to hear from us today. And then we write our content on a much more energetically connected level.
So, if we're looking at that in terms of dog trainers putting free content out, because it's a big thing for dog trainers to actually understand that free content is okay to give,
Yeah,
because
loads more.
everyone's going to just get all the information for free. No one's going to come and buy it. It's going to be like, I'm just giving my secrets away. So if we're looking at the value that you know that people get from your 5-day challenges, and that dog trainer is giving value to dog owners, so the 5 tips to help your dachshund, stop them barking, do the stuff, like, that's powerful then, surely.
Oh yeah. So all your free content should move the reader. It should move the reader in some way. Either it could move them emotionally if they feel like you understand them, most importantly, because that's all we want, isn't it? We want to feel like we're seen, heard, and understood. Or it should move them strategically in some way. So yeah, it should give them something like, if I do this thing, my dog stops barking. And then you're like God to them. So you can't give too much away. That's one thing I would say across every niche and every level. If you think you're giving too much away, you're not giving enough away. Give more. Yeah, give them everything you've got. I teach my 3 things to get leads from LinkedIn every time I speak. I'm not trying to hold anything back. The reason people buy from me is they want more of me. They don't buy from me to get the secrets. There are no secrets. In fact, some people are a bit disappointed. They're like, when do we get the secrets? I'm like, there are no
There aren't
secrets.
any.
It's like the secret is there are no secrets, and you do these 3 things every day consistently, and you're going to get leads from LinkedIn. Just like your guys will know, if they teach someone how to stop the dog barking, if they do that consistently every day without fail, their dog will stop barking. But guess what? They won't. Exactly the same with my stuff. If my stuff was as simple as doing 3 things a day, then everyone I've taught it to in the whole world ever would just be doing it and getting a result. And they would get a result if they did it. But they don't. And they don't because we're human, and all the stuff going underneath the line, well, it makes us feel a certain way. Well, what will people think if I post all the time on LinkedIn or anywhere else? What will people say? Like, I'm not feeling it today. I'm worried about this. I haven't got a strategy for that. I'm not sure if this is the right thing. So it's all of that stuff that they actually buy from me from. They want reassurance, they want permission, they want support, they want accountability, they want to feel loved and part of something. That's why they buy my program, not because they want to learn the 3 things to do. And it's the same with all of your dog trainers and behaviorists. And I know, if everyone did what we told them to do, there'd be no more problems in the world. But people need more than that, because it's not about strategies. This is what I've really learning in my development over the last sort of 18 months into this new direction, is that strategy only takes you so far. And it takes you quite far. Like it can take you a long way. But if you're not really in the right energy and your soul, like I work with people who do all the things and they come to me and they're like, Helen, I'm doing all the things. But when I actually talk to them, they just burst into tears because they're trying to sell something they don't even want to sell. They're trying to do something they don't even want to do. So it's like, no wonder it's not working, because you can do all the strategy, but your soul is screaming like, no, we don't want to win this work, or we don't want to be this person, or don't want to do this stuff. This is stuff that you've been conditioned to think you should be doing or selling or saying. This is stuff that other people want you to do or sell or say. This is what other people, have kind of convinced you is the right thing to do, but it don't feel right to you. So your soul will kick and scream and do anything to stop you doing something that isn't aligned with it. So it's been a real wake-up call for me, because I'm just like, well, it's just strategy. Just take the strategy. Just do the strategy. I'm like, why aren't you all doing the things? But what I realized is all the strategies work for me because I'm soul aligned. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I'm here to do. I know exactly how I want to do it. So it all works for me. And I couldn't work that out. It took me ages, honestly, like proper pickle in my head. I was like, why does this not work for everybody? And then I realized, if you're not aligned with who you are as a person, you're never, ever going to be able to do social media. It just will not feel right. If you're trying to be someone online who you're not, never going to work. That's why it don't feel right, don't look right. From the outside, you can tell. From the inside, you can definitely tell. And that's why people buy courses and programs and pay gurus and mentors, and it still doesn't work because it's not what they want to be doing or the way they want to be doing it. And it took me ages to work that one out. So who am I? What am I here to do? I feel like we just get so off that because we forget to ask ourselves, and we start looking outside. We start thinking, oh, well, if I buy another course or program, of which I'm part of the problem, obviously, guys. But if I buy another course or program, or I do another challenge, or I buy another thing, or join another mastermind, or I invest in another mentor, then that's going to be the solution. When actually, it's all in here anyway. So if you go in here first, then get an alignment. So I talk about alignment with self, alignment with client, and alignment with offer. So you got to know who you are and what you're here to do. Now, not forever. You don't need to know like some big mission for the rest of your life. But what am I trying to do here? What am I trying to achieve? And is that in alignment with myself? Then it's the client. Who's the dream client for this? And how can I really get to know them? Like I know them like a character in a book or in a film or in my life. So I can really talk to them and visualize them. And then how can I align with the thing that I'm selling? So when we get that, what I like, click, 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 those micro alignments all lined up the right way, then every strategy and tactic works.
Yeah.
You can just pick and choose any of them. It'll work. Yeah.
I love that last piece so much. And I think Vicky and I have actually struggled with what the hell do we call like ourselves as our business? Because ultimately, you're right. Like, yes, we are teaching a strategy, but it's so much more than that, because you can't do all the stuff if, like you say, that soul work's not there, if that mindfulness, if you're not putting that work into truly understanding yourself and what it is that you are like meant to do and do all of this stuff, like all of that massively impacts how you approach those tactics and the strategy and all the stuff that everyone's always telling us to do. And yeah, like we still haven't even landed on, like when somebody asks us what we do, we're like, how do you put all of that into one little succinct sentence? Because arguably, like, yeah, business strategists, specifically for dog trainers and behaviorists, but
there's a whole lot more than that.
It's all the stuff underneath. But yeah, I think it's just such an incredible wake-up call again for everyone listening, that you're not on your own. Everyone is struggling with stuff all the time. And like we hope that certainly, like, not even just this episode, but we hope that everything that we are doing at CBA massively helps you on your journey. We are there as that support network. And if we're not the people for you, then again, that's absolutely fine. But definitely go and find people that are going to lift you up and they're going to help you figure out who you are so that you can implement all this stuff to have the business and the life that you want. Because let's face it, we only get one. And I
Well,
think
this is it. This is it. It's like, it's almost like, when was the last time you actually stopped and actually listened to yourself and took a minute to tune in with yourself? Like, we just don't do it. And I by the way, I am not putting myself on a pedestal with this shit. Honestly, I am learning and growing and going as we all are, right? Every mistake everyone who's listening to this made, I've made. Yeah, I didn't formulate into the business world with, and get everything right. The reason why I teach this stuff so passionately is because I got everything wrong, right? And I made all the mistakes and I continue to make mistakes. And like, I've had loads of successes, but I've also had equal, if not more, complete failures and flops, which people are always quite surprised to hear. But I'm like, there's loads of things that have gone wrong for me, and that I've put out more offers that I haven't sold than half, put it that way. But when did we last stop? Because it's like more, isn't it? It's like when we get in our feelings. So your soul knows, right? So if we just assume your soul knows, say you're doing a tactic or a strategy, or you're doing this new thing, it don't feel right. Yeah, it doesn't, but you don't go quiet and ask yourself, you just do more of the things. You just do then you just start eating ham out of the packet in the fridge, or you just start like drinking wine at 5 o'clock, or you start like, you know what I mean? Like doing more, being more, buying some more storage boxes off Amazon, because if you sort that out, then that's going to be the thing that aligns your soul. But it's like, it's just, we're in this consumerist environment, aren't we? We're being bombarded all the time by solutions to problems. And actually, none of it works until you've really worked out what you're here to do. And for you guys, I don't know if you need to be able to articulate what you do in a couple of sentences, because your mission is so pure, right? You're here to leave a legacy for business, dog business owners, right? You're here to help one at a time move the needle, right? It's like, I call them micro alignments. This isn't about changing the world in one big like nuclear bomb of like facts. It's just about getting people just to take a minute, and giving people all the benefit of all your experience and all the all the mistakes that you've made, and all the support that you can give them. And I think it's mission over mindset in the moment, isn't it? It's like the mission's so big that all the tactics and the strategies, they're all going to support, but they're supporting the mission because you're so aligned with who you are and what you're doing and the mission you're on. All the other stuff just kind of comes together, and people think it's luck or it's like opportunities and it's flukes now, but I don't believe it is. I believe that you two have met each other and seen something in each other and felt something in each other, that you're aligned, your values aligned, the mission's aligned. So this is all just part of the process, isn't it? Not knowing, you could spend hours going around in circles about what to call things, but ultimately your customers can feel it when they're with you. So it's quite hard to describe, really, isn't it? But when you're aligned with who you are and your mission, you're magnetic to clients. People are drawn towards you. You become the obvious choice. You don't really need to sell to people when you're aligned. It's almost like you're aligned doing your thing, then people will come to you,
Yeah.
When you really know who you are and what you want, then we're about magnetizing clients to us, not about going out and ramming our stuff down people's throats and getting them to buy from us. So I think the word is to relax, if someone's listening to this now and like, yeah, but what about this? What about that? So just relax. It's going to be okay. Like the more true to yourself you can be, and the more you can represent that online. Yeah, we can talk about tactics and funnels and strategies and all that kind of stuff. But actually, if you just post on LinkedIn every day what your ideal client needs to hear from you, so not even about who you are and what you do, what do they need to hear from you today? So I did an exercise yesterday, Monday, and we had about 20 in the room. We had a platinum mastermind day, and I just got them to put their hand on the heart and just connecting with their ideal client. And if you can't connect with the ideal clients because you've not done your ideal client avatar work, by the way, anyway, connecting with their ideal client. And then I said, just ask them, what do they need to hear from you today? I gave them a minute. And then I got them to come out of that and then just open up Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever your choice is, and write it, say it now in the moment, And I'd never done that exercise before. And we went around the tables, and it was unbelievable what they'd posted and what they'd said. It was just, they really spoke to their client's soul. And I think they were so caught up in, I'm a leadership coach and I do this and I do that. And you know how they present when asked who you are and what you do. But when I asked them what their client needed to hear, it was all about, it's okay. You know what I mean? I know how you feel. It's all about this reassurance. The energy was completely different to what Natalie, who's my strategist, calls proving energy. So I think a lot of people are improving energy, trying to prove I'm the best. Yeah, I'm going to prove I'm the best dog behaviorist. I'm better than everyone else. Their shit, that negative energy of like trying to drag other people down. I'm going to prove that I'm the best. I'm going to give you all of this stuff. I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to show you how great I am. I'm going to tell you how great I am, instead of just showing up and telling them how much you believe in their ability to help their dogs. Does that make sense? And that's prizing energy of like, if you get to work with me, then that is a gift to you. You're lucky if you get to be a client.
Yeah. It's something we say all the time, that I think this industry forgets that you're talking to people. You're not actually talking to the dogs. You're not proving to the dogs that you're going to be like this kick-ass trainer. You're talking to a person. You're in a people business, and I think it's easily overlooked.
Yeah, and how does that person feel? Well, they feel ashamed. They feel embarrassed. They feel like they've let the dog down. They feel like they're everyone's looking at them. They feel like everyone's judging them. They feel embarrassed. They feel, you'll know better than me, but I know the impact that having, reactive dogs can have. I've got a friend who never opened her curtains for 8 years because she lived on a road where people walk past. Didn't open her curtains for 8 years. Like, that's mind-blowing, right? So like, there's people in crisis that need your help, who are so ashamed and so fearful and so frightened of and controlled by this dog, this situation that they've brought on themselves. And you know and also, like, and this is probably for another episode, but this whole like a dog is for life thing, like, I feel like this has been the biggest traumatic message, because so many people trapped in situations that they would never give the dog up because they've been conditioned that this is not, it's not okay. So then you've got these dogs and owners living in this trauma and not feeling able to even admit that they've got this problem, or that this, really, it's life altering situations. It's not just about, oh, I want to socialize my puppy. I mean, that's nice, but I'm sure that's, from a dog training point of view, I'm sure that's quite easy. Let's socialize some puppies and do some basics. I'm guessing. I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm sure it is. But there's also people out there who are deep in the trauma, who are going to need a lot of. I mean, I imagine it's a bit of a counselling role. It's a therapy role for the human, and getting them to feel. So when you stop thinking about how can I make more money as a dog trainer, and start thinking about how can I help that person sat in the dark room with the curtains drawn for the last 6 years, whose husband has got nothing good to say about the whole situation, but brought it on yourself, whose kids don't want to bring their friends home because the dog's doing the the ideal client work, the avatar work is going deep into some of this stuff. And when you talk to them on this level of like, it's okay, I've seen this before, I've seen this a million times before, you're not the first person that's got into this situation, and I know I can help you. So certainty, very sexy in marketing. So you say to somebody like, I know I can help you, I've seen this before, straight away they're like, it's not about how much is it, it's like, how can how fast can you get to me, because I think it's about understanding, I think. But you might not want to work with those people, which is why the client work comes in. It can be very much about like, who is my dream client? Like, what's my dream problem to solve? Because that, again, is different again, depending on who you are and what you want to do, and how you want to help people. So, yeah, went off on a bit of a tangent then, but I'm feeling sad about people that are sat in dark rooms with dogs.
No, I completely agree. And actually, you were saying earlier on the way here, I think it was, that one of our group programs, Joe did like a live call and talked about the importance of those sessions where we just sit and chat with the person, have a coffee, and
Yeah.
all that emotional stuff can come out, and all the reasons why they maybe haven't done the training can come out, and the blockers and the things that are
Yeah.
stopping them. And this particular client of ours was like absolutely dumbfounded that we would spend an hour not training a dog, but actually talking to the human. But then at the end of it, you said made real sense to her as to why we would do that. But that's a normal response that,
Yeah.
this industry, and again, probably lots of industries have, is like the value in that session where there's no pressure, no like expectation to learn a new skill in 1 hour. It's like, listen to what that person is saying, and how can we best adapt our service to them, or change things up slightly based on what they're saying, or like slow it down, speed it up, whatever we need to do. And
Yeah.
the power of that is huge.
And I think this is all great content, right? For people to talk about and talk to their potential clients on this level and be really explicit. And I think you forget how much you know, and you forget what you're doing because you're kind of living in it. But if somebody doesn't know you and doesn't know what you do, to just talk like this, just in a conversational style. What I would say about content on LinkedIn, anywhere else, is like, again, just relax. You don't need to be a content strategist that writes amazing copy. It's like, just talk to your audience like they're a mate, and just share who you are and what you're about and what you're feeling today and what's happening at the moment, and clients that you've worked with and things you'd love to help with, and just make it much more sustainable. I feel like putting out great content all day every day is like, it's not sustainable for anybody. So like, if you can make it to a point where it's just you chatting to a friend in your pocket, it's a lot easier to just be constantly putting out content, because you're just sharing your thoughts and ideas, rather than thinking, right, I have to sit down and write content right now that's going to get me a client. It's much more of a gradual process of letting people get to know you, who you are, and becoming the go-to person in your niche, in your area, by making friends with everybody first, rather than trying to sell to everybody first.
Yeah, makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Like, just become friends with who you're like. Do
Well,
that
that's
tiny
like,
bit.
well, this is how I'm here, right? Because we've met in person a few times, and then every time we meet, we have another chat about something. Every time we meet, we talk about something else. And that's how you become friends, by having conversations, sharing secrets, proximity, like time known, time served, and all the rest of it. So it's kind of like, I think a lot of people across all industries are like, what do I need to do to go and get clients? And it's like, well, you need to be consistently you and show up for the next 5 years. People are like, oh.
I don't like the sound of that.
God,
It's
why
like,
can't I have it now?
yeah, exactly. What? You mean I
Impatient.
can't show up and do a post and make £1 million tomorrow? So I think understanding that it's a cumulative game, though. You can't undo all of the good work. If you show up consistently, it grows and it expands with you, and you can't shortcut it, and that's a good thing, because then everyone would do it, isn't it? But consistently showing up, consistently being you, consistently staying on your same theme, if you like, that we talked about right at the beginning, is always going to pay off as a long-term marketing strategy. Like, that's never going to change. That's not a tactic. That's just it's a way of being that will always pay off, in terms of people trusting you, that you're going to be there when they need you after they've given you the money as well. And letting people on their own timeline. So I talked about people doing my challenge 10 times or 20 times or 40 times. Most people buy after like 2 or 3 challenges. So that might take 12 to 18 months. And that's okay. I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? There's no rush. I'm not trying to force people to buy from me within the first 5 minutes of meeting me. Other people see me, they might listen to this and be straight in my DMs. Like, how can I do an ideal client session? You know what I mean? And they're like, where do I send the money? So, so other people's timelines are none of your business as well. Your job is just to keep showing up, whether people are buying or not, and not letting the response, if you like, or the reaction from your activity dictate your activity. Does that make sense? So don't let your emotions dictate your activity, and instead just keep showing up regardless, and have faith that your ideal client's going to come to you. When you're talking to them consistently about who they are and how they're feeling, talking to their deepest, darkest desires, and the things that they're maybe not saying out loud, can really help them feel connected with you and trust you. And I think as we move into the AI generation, trust is going to be the big kicker. it's going to be the big thing. People are going to have to really trust that it's you, and it is you, and you are who you say you are, and you can do what you say you can do.
Yeah, yeah. What great advice. I feel like we need to end it there. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking to you and you're never allowed to leave because great conversation. Lots to think about, lots to ponder on.
I love that. And I really enjoy that, yeah, but pushback. I enjoy that. It's good. Because I get it myself. It's like, yeah, but la, 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 la.
Yeah, I'm literally saying all the things that people say to me and I'm like, yes, I can hand it on to someone else. Like,
the baton.
It's going to be that annoying, petulant child that's just like, I've got an excuse. Like,
Everyone thinks that everybody thinks that they're the exception.
Yeah, always. Helen, where can people find out more about you if they want to get into your world?
So Facebook is my spiritual home. That's where I hang out. I've been on there since it was invented. So, I love Facebook. So come and follow me on Facebook. I am maxed out on connections, sadly. But follow me on Helen Tudor. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, Helen Tudor over on there as well. I am also starting my YouTube channel, and I've recorded my first series of my podcast, guys.
It's exciting.
So that's going live soon. We're recording this in January 2025. So if you're watching me in the future, hi.
I love that.
I know, it's weird though, isn't it? If you watch me in the future, hi, please still send me a DM. If you've got anything useful out of today, please let me know. If you don't like me, please email support@helenpritchardonline.com.
Oh.
So love to the DMs, hate to the email. Only because I don't.
Somebody else deals with the inbox.
I love that. The emails are all the bad stuff. Okay.
Emails to the bad stuff to my team, and all the love to my DMs would be amazing. But yeah, I wish everybody all the luck and love in the world, because I think business is it's a game and we play it, and I want you to have fun with it and enjoy it. And if anything I've said has resonated, great, take it and run with it. And if it hasn't, just drop it and leave it. It's your business, your rules, run it your way.
Cool. Last question. Who else do you know that could come onto our podcast and give amazing value? We're really broad with our guests, as long as we are promoting all of the stuff that we want people to have: more time, more profit, more, ideal clients. Who do you think?
That's a great question. Who do I know who would be amazing for this podcast?
Always stumps people.
It's such a great question, though. So I'm guessing you've probably got Paul Green lined up. So Paul Green to talk about
Why have we not got Paul
I don't know. We need Paul Green.
We will get
on.
Paul Green.
Yeah, we know Paul. We'll get him on.
Paul Green would be a great addition. I tell you who I would really love to see on more stuff. Mark Whitehand. So he's just produced my podcast for me. And he had some he actually co-hosted it with me, and he was really interesting. So talking about podcasting as a business tool, I think he'd be really, really good as well.
Awesome.
We'll get
Love
on
it.
them.
Like it. Cool. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us, Helen, and your time. Really appreciate it. I feel like there's definitely going to need to be like a part 2, maybe 3, 4, and 5 as well.
By popular demand, hopefully. If everyone loves me, I'll come back and I can talk about any of those things for any indeterminate amount of time, forever more. So,
because actually we didn't really delve too much into LinkedIn.
Into
We sort of
LinkedIn,
went on to the
I love
cloud,
that.
but actually really useful content. But I feel maybe we need to get you back on to actually talk more about LinkedIn and how
Happy to do
can
that,
benefit.
for sure.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Lots of love. Have an amazing day.
And
See you
you.
later.
Bye.